ladies, what is MotoGP 21 really like?
It's crap, mate. Alright, all jokes aside, let's talk about MotoGP 21, the game. So, let's start off by being honest. This review was meant to come out about a week ago. I had it sort of lined up and planned to come out a week ago. I don't usually like to review things or give my opinion on things immediately after release because I think you're still getting used to the game, you're still getting used to aspects of it, and so you're going to be very biased into having kind of new, fresh ideas on it. I wanted to play the game for a little bit, get to know it, get to know its quirks and kind of its letdowns, and so I waited a little while. My first impressions were not the greatest. I was somewhat very disappointed with the game. I don't know if I expected more or if I was just underwhelmed with what was delivered. So I guess really the fairest way to go about this review of the game is to break it down into what I like to call the shit sandwich. I don't know if you guys have heard this expression. You start off with something positive, then negative, and you round it off with something positive. So let's break it down into kind of, I'll run through some of the topics that Milestone had kind of labeled as new within this game. So we'll start with penalty system. I said before in my what to expect video that this was going to be a hard system to screw up, and I was pretty much spot on with that. It is not a difficult system to do wrong. Milestone have done it very well. It is very fun and a different approach to how the game works. They've obviously removed the time penalty for if you run wide, you no longer get a 0.1 or 0.05 or however much the computer works out that you've deemed to gain. You just get a warning now. In time trial, you just get an invalid lap. So there's no more added time onto your race time or lap time. This, of course, is different if you fail to take your long lap penalties. The long lap penalties are very difficult to take. They're very narrow, a lot more narrow than I was expecting. So it is a new approach to how things are done. But if you get the 5 warnings or a jump start, you get given a long lap penalty. And if you don't fulfill this, I think it is a 2 or 3 second penalty that will be added onto your time. This brings a little bit of a downside to the way the system works. Say, for instance, if you were doing a 3-lap race and you did 2 really clean laps, no warnings, no jump starts, you now have your last lap with 5 warnings that you can get away with cutting the track. So people who are more inclined to do that will literally just take the piss and cut as much of the track as they can. There's no penalty incurred for it. It's a win-win in their eyes. So long as they stay within those 5 warnings, they could make up a couple of places or win the race because they've extended their gap. So it's something that could do with a tweak in that sense, but otherwise overall really good system. Hats off to Milestone for doing this. Like I said, it was kind of an easy thing to do in terms of you couldn't really screw it up. So we'll move on then to bike retrieval, which was something everyone was really excited about, everyone was waiting for. It's a good system in my opinion. It's extremely punishing, but it's also quite realistic to real life in the sense that when you fall, it doesn't take you in previous titles 3 or 5 seconds. It does take more than that, and this system is very punishing. More so because the AI aren't affected by it, so you lose out 18 to 19 seconds on a crash versus the AI. So it's good. I like it. I think a lot of people have gone off of it because the novelty of it is worn off, and because the AI aren't doing it, they're losing out a lot of time on that. So I think once Milestone, and they have said that they will bring it over to the AI, they will bring it over to multiplayer, and I think when that happens, it will become less of a gimmick and more of a hard-coded aspect of the game, much like in real life. So I think there's stuff in the pipeline that's going to make that a really good system. Graphically, this game is a huge step up from last year. Graphics wise, on the higher end spec PCs on the new gen consoles, you're getting a smooth, solid 60 frames per second. The game looks very good. Rendering wise, it's still an issue. I don't know I'm not a complete computer buff, but it seems like either the consoles can't handle loading up all the details, the scenery, or the Unreal Engine that the game's built on cannot handle it. Other than that, looking at like little minor things that I think we can give Milestone some slack on because of the current climate with COVID, lockdown and everything like that, there are some minor annoyances in that the bike models, although the sponsors and liveries have changed, they're still based on bikes from 2 years ago. People have shared screenshots of Iannone and the Vizioso flags in the crowd. But like I said, we can cut Milestone a little bit of slack in this regard. For everything that they tried to do to bring the game forward, there were going to be things that they were going to miss, especially with not fully being based in their studio and working remotely from home. So yeah, graphically it's a massive improvement. We'll just leave it at that. I think that's a fair assessment. And yeah, that kind of brings an end to sort of the first positive base. And now, yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'd sort of been putting this off for a little while because I just have no enjoyment with the game. The way that it was delivered straight off the bat on launch, it was just Here's my argument and my point of view with it. In the UK it is £49.99 for this game. It is not worth it. You are buying half of a game. Okay, Milestone have come out and patched a few things, but we have now got into a territory where we've been delivered half-completed games and just expected to suck it up. We're paying full price for a game that is then finished halfway through its lifespan. This is a yearly game. The turnaround time on it is every April a new game is released, and yet the game is only in its fully playable state 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line. I don't think it's acceptable as a consumer. I just genuinely don't. I understand that the climate we're in has made things a lot more difficult, but there's a solution to that. Take what you had in MotoGP 20, improve the graphics, that was it. That was all you had to do. Instead, what they did was, it seems like they spent loads of time doing things to try and improve the game. Yes, that worked, but then they completely forgot about the basics of the game. Up until the last patch, you couldn't even play time trial on the new gen consoles. It would not load you in after setting a lap. You used the replay and the rider was 500 meters back off the bike. He wasn't physically on the bike whilst you were riding. These are very basic things that I don't think you can just skim over because you added a bike retrieval system or a long lap penalty. They're very basic things for the game. Graphically, I said it was amazing. There are issues with the rendering. Tracks don't load in. It's baffling. It's mind-blowing. It is the equivalent of buying a car and when it arrives, the engine is missing and you have to assemble the frame. It's stupidity, in my opinion. And this is kind of why I've been putting off for putting it on. It's been pissing me off, and I was at the point of asking for a refund with this game because it was just, for me personally, to spend £50 on a game, you shouldn't have to expect it to only be half complete. Charge half price and give me half the game, fair enough. But charge full price and give me half of the game, you're just taking me for a mug. The AI are a complete joke. People are finishing races in their career where them and one other AI are the only ones to finish. That's not because they're lightning quick, it's because the AI have crashed 500 times in a race and can no longer finish the race. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2, it's the majority of the field. I've seen screenshots of 2 people finishing a race, 3 people finishing a race. I don't understand how you can screw that up. It was nowhere near like that last year. So again, it comes back to my point. You had a good thing in GP20. Fix the basics, then make the big tweaks, like bike retrieval, brake temp, stuff like that. That's great. People want that in the game. They want the realism. But what they also want is to pay full price for a game that they don't have to wait half a year just for it to be brought up to the spec it should have been on release. Now look, I'm an optimistic guy, right? Before you go out and call me a crybaby about a video game on the internet or whatever, right? We've come through a very difficult time. I keep saying it. The pandemic has been awful, and the reason I keep saying it is because it is incredibly difficult to develop a game during these times. Working remotely, you don't have the facilities that you would normally, so things are going to be a little bit subpar. Milestone have done their very best. It's evident that they have tried to progress this game, and I am extremely grateful that they have. They are literally the only ones in the bike racing game genre that are worth their weight in gold. Yes, there's Isle of Man TT. It's not for me. Ride and MotoGP 21 or MotoGP, any of them, have been the standout games in the motorcycle racing genre, and they're all developed by Milestone. So they have no competition, they have nothing, and we're stuck with whatever they throw out. However, what I will say, and I'm glad that I waited some time to do this review, is the first patch has been released. Milestone have released a roadmap that looks like the game is going to massively improve, and that is the only reason I have held out on getting a refund from the game, because things are improving. Their latest patch has cleared the time trial glitch, so new gen consoles can actually go on and play the game. It's cleared the rider moving backwards off the bike on rewind. So they are hard-working devs, and they listen to the community in the same sense that if there is an issue, you raise it with them, they will try and fix it. So it's good in that aspect. Overall, the game is playable. It's not like a complete mess. The issues that I've brought up, in my opinion, haven't completely turned me off of the game. They're not so game-breaking that you can't enjoy it. They are annoying though, because like I keep saying, you're paying full price for a game that is not finished. But before I go on and rant on and have like a mini heart attack about it, let's just be positive and kind of wrap it up and round it off. That the game is in a good state right now, with certain aspects of it. The other ones do look like they're going to be worked on and improved. So it's frustrating that after a while the game will be where it should have been on launch, but it will eventually get there. I would suggest to anyone who's buying it, and this is not any advice other than just my personal opinion, if you are in no rush to get the latest edition of the game, wait until the patches come out and the reviews start to change. Then consider buying it. Hell, it might even be on sale and you'll be getting twice the game for half the price, whereas we got half the game for twice the price. But yeah, I mean, if you think I'm completely wrong, by all means, please tell me down in the comments. If you know me personally, message me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever and tell me I'm wrong. I would love to just be told that nothing but a whinger turtle and have got it completely wrong. But I have seen, and from what I've heard from friends and other people on the game, I am talking what has been said by the vast majority. And I hope that those of you who have it have found a way to enjoy it through this. I think we all still enjoy the game. I don't think it's a complete shit show like I've made it out to be, probably being a little bit overactive, but I'm just being honest. And that kind of brings me on to another point. Like, I'm right now at the point where I don't enjoy playing the game. I did have fairly big plans for where I wanted to take the content on this channel and where I wanted to go with it, but right now I just don't have the enjoyment in it. I'm getting incredibly busy with work as well, so it's becoming more and more difficult for me to find the time to do these videos, and also to find the enjoyment in playing the game to get the content to do these videos. There's a couple of ideas that I have which I'll continue to work with, but I think my uploads are going to be a little bit scarce, as they have been, scarcer than they have been, if you can believe that. But until the game improves, until I start finding some enjoyment in it, I think I'm going to just carry on with an idea that I have that will see me probably post a video before every race in the real MotoGP world, and yeah, go from there. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that I haven't kind of scared any of you off from trying it. If you could get a trial of the game, by all means do it, or if you could get better opinions on it, if you think I'm talking shit, by all means. And hope to see some of you out in the game when I'm playing it. And yeah, peace out. Have fun.